Every year on the 1st of February, the Finance Minister of our country announces the Union Budget. Now, we all know that the budget has something to do with taxes, and we wonder if we're going to be left with more or less money in hand. But the Union Budget is much more than just about taxes. Look at it this way. You know how every month you make a list of your income and expenses? That's your own personal budget. So in the income column, you'd put what your salary is. If you have a house which is rented out, the rent from that house, any returns that you've made on your investments, all of this contributes to your income. Similarly, you obviously have expenses. So whether it's your provision expenses, bills that you pay, the rent that you pay, all of that goes into your expenses column. Now, this sheet of paper will give you an idea about where you stand financially for that month, how much your income is, and how much you will need to spend. So essentially, all it's doing is helping you plan better. Now, for the government, it's quite similar. The government also has various sources of revenues. Now, this includes taxes that you and I pay, profits of companies that the government owns. Government also makes investments, so income from those investments, all of that goes into the government's revenue bucket. And the government also spends on a lot of things, so infrastructure, salaries of government employees, welfare schemes, interest costs, administrative expenses, all of this is what the government spends on. So essentially, the budget presentation tells us the financial position of the government. So first of all, it shows us how much the government has spent and earned in the year that's gone by. Second, the government usually spends more than it earns. So the budget also tells us how much it has borrowed and from where it has borrowed. Thirdly, it tells us how much the government plans to spend and what the government's income is likely to be for the coming year. And finally, the budget tells us the state and the health of the economy. And one more important thing to remember here is that most of what is announced in the budget is either where the government is going to spend money or how the government is going to earn money.